I mean, it's one of those old-time microphones.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No.
I thought
Just
you were
surrender your
This is all.
goodies here. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, but I bet it works.
Yeah.
All it has to
I
do
have
is
to
work. So, hi. How does this work? Am I supposed to talk, or are you guys supposed to ask me questions? Please ask me questions, because I'm really boring on my own, so throw me a bone here. Hi.
Okay, so
Yeah.
87. So this is what, 24, 25?
Oh, yeah. Since I'm doing Pooh, yeah. Yeah, the original, the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Back when ABC and Disney were two separate critters. So, yeah.
So can you talk about how you got the job back then?
Well, yeah, it was just a regular audition process, you know. They sent out the call to all the agencies, and my agent got the call, and it wasn't even a voice that I had ever really done, except for, you know, you're sitting around and playing Monopoly, or, you know, I believe I will purchase a park, please. You know, that kind of thing. And I did it without thinking about it, because I'm one of those guys, those annoying kids in the class that always did the voices, you know. We don't have any dolphins here, Mr. Cummings, okay? You know, well, that was me, and so I kind of had it in my quiver, so to speak, but I hadn't really, I mean, it's not the kind of thing you think, you know, I better bone up on my Winnie the Pooh in case they, you know, recast someday and, you know, Sterling retires. But so I just kind of went back to the drawing board, and I worked at a video store way back when, so I had a bunch of Winnie the Pooh videos. So I just kind of refreshed myself, and boom, and I snuck in, and it was weird. They were telling me that Burgess Meredith had auditioned, and E.G. Marshall, and I'm going, you know, these big face guys. I've got a face for voiceover. You never see me very much, but and I thought, wow, I get to be Winnie the Pooh. Okay, so it's just a regular audition process, just like, you know, any other product. I almost met Sterling Holloway once, many moons ago. He lived in Laguna Beach, California, and I was down there, God, way before I was in the business. And I thought I was like the only myself and my girlfriend. We were there, and I thought we were the only people in the audience, in the diner, and it was in the hotel lobby, diner, I think, at the time. And the waitress see her walk over to the corner booth and couldn't see who was there, and she said, "Well, have you decided finally what you want now?" And I hear, "Yes, I believe I will have the chowder." And I went, you know, because it's very distinct, you know, and I kind of got up and I grabbed some salt off the table and I go, oh, it's Winnie the Pooh. You know, it was Sterling Holloway, and I you know, what do? You go up and go, hi. Okay, that's it. I don't have anything else, you know. So I didn't say anything. Of course, I regret it now. I wish I did. Paul Winchell, I knew. He was a great guy. I actually live in the same town, island that he used to live on, and him I met a few times. I know his daughter April very well, but yeah, it was just a regular audition process. That's my almost brush with Sterling Holloway story. Now I thought I'd throw that in there. It's kind of cute.
But you've done Pooh for all these different incarnations of it. I mean, the House of Pooh, and the my friend Tigger and Pooh, and now this is
Ooh, Tigger, Meet the Wolf Man. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
The Wolfman, really?
Wow. Pooh and Tigger meet Abbott and Costello or something, or I don't know.
But this is really kind of a reboot. You know, did you find, you know, because it was a reboot, did you go back and revisit the shorts, or? Well,
you know, they never left me. I didn't have to go back and revisit them. They, I mean, I probably have it, not on purpose, just by osmosis, just because I probably have the whole original movie memorized anyway, because I've done certain lines for it, for projects like toys, you know, that they would harken back, and little shorts that we would redo for one reason or another, because sometimes they cut them up and they make separate little things. But if you look, I was here earlier, and what's nice is well, when Princess and the Frog was winding down, Pooh was just gearing up, and it was like heavenly timing, because the guys from Princess and the Frog, all the animators, they're the best humans on Earth who do this, and they were all done, all at the same time, and they're all sitting on their hands going, "Okay, now what?" And they go, "Well, guess what? We're going off to the 100-acre wood," and it was, and you can look at these, and everything you liked about the ones back in the '60s, everything you liked about those, you're gonna love about this one. I don't know, you guys, have you seen it all?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, then, I mean, honestly, I say this all the time. Every frame, I think, is frameable. Mm-hmm. It's gorgeous. It's so pretty. And they're better at it now than they were then. So they did all the old stuff that you loved, and it looks better now, and it pops, and it just sizzles, and I'm nuts about it. I just think it looks fantastic. So they, it's like I say, as far as going back and redoing it, I mean, it's there, man. It's back and better than ever, I think. You could turn the sound down and love it, or but don't. So yeah, it never really left me. I'm kind of like in the audience too. I'm a fan.
Was this the first time you played two characters?
Oh no.
You've been playing both too?
Yeah, for a long time. Yeah.
So it's not that difficult for you to just like make different voices.
Well, let me think about that for a second. What do you think, Tigger?
No, it's not a big deal. We just do it. It's something that we do in our head.
Yes, that would be about right.
No, it's not a big deal. It helps that we're schizophrenic. I mean, I am schizophrenic.
Yeah, how does it affect you to play this character for so? I mean, it's probably like it. Everybody asks that. I mean, do you have dreams or stuff about it? I don't know, because for playing somebody for so long, even if it's
Well,
I guess what he's trying to ask is, do you say like, "Oh bother" on a daily basis?
Sometimes you find out that you're talking with somebody using a voice that is not.
Yeah, the only I think they're just kind of like right beneath the surface anyway of me, like it's kind of like in my own little mental Rolodex that I just kind of file through there and they pop out. It's I don't see, if I stop and think about it, I'm doomed. So thanks. No, but it's actually just something that I'm so used to. The only time I ever this was the craziest gig. It was an Esquire magazine. It was a toy, maybe about 10, 12 years ago, and it was. They gave it the most dubious achievement award for the name of the toy, and it was called My Interactive Pooh. Well, yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. And what it was it was Winnie the Pooh. It was a downloadable, very high-tech toy. And my gosh, it was like having somebody sit in the room with you. What you do is you would download your name, your kids' names, and if their friends were coming over that day, you just download their names into it. And so as a result, we did all the stories first. We did all the stories, well, one day we were in 100-acre wood, we did this, that, and the other. And my good friend Susie would come by, and we did, on and on and on. And then they went over to Mahatma's house. And we did for 6 months. I'm not kidding you, 6 months. We started off doing 4-hour sessions, and our brains would turn to fudge. You couldn't do it because I was in the D's for mother.
The Chandra, the Shikwa, the Shanaluzi, the Shingalongi.
And then after a while, you're sitting there and you're doing that, and you're going, and everybody in the room is going. And you realize that no one can hear anything anymore, and your brain has been turned into fudge. So I would go home, and to answer your question, I would the phone would ring, and I go,
Lexuna.
I'm sorry. Hi, it's Jim. That's the closest I've ever come to being insane. So yeah, I don't get too confused unless it's one of those.
Yeah.
24,800.
God.
my
16
goodness.
names.
Oh my
That's crazy.
God.
Yeah, and it was from all over the world. Every name.
How did the product do?
I don't know. I'm not gonna buy one.
Was it
He lived it.
I did. I'm sure it did very well. Esquire magazine had a lot of fun with it. Dubious Achievement of the Year award. My interacting with, but yeah. So I'm gonna get you one. I'll teach you. No, but it was fun, but a little crazy.
So you voiced all these great Disney characters over the years. I mean, from the Disney afternoon stuff like Don Carnage, and, you know, I mean,
one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites.
you know, and Fat Cat, and you know, and now to Princess and the Frog. You know, the Cajun. Is there a particular favorite of yours, or?
Well, you know, Don Carnage actually is one of them. Don Carnage and Darkwing, Ray, and Pooh and Tigger are kind of in their own category. I mean, geez, what are you gonna do? You know, for me, it's. I mean, I feel like I'm a torchbearer. You know, it's an honor, really. I don't take myself very seriously, but I sure do take the work seriously. I take it because you know, they live forever. I mean, Dumbo, Snow White was what, 1939, you know, and she's still going strong, you know. So you know, some of them really pop out, like I said, Darkwing Duck, and you know, it's different. Like with Ray and Darkwing and Don Carnage, they were guys that came from me, so there's that aspect of it. And then with Pooh and Tigger, they were established. They were here before me, and the trick with them is to be true to the tradition. You know, you have to sound like the originals right off the bat. Number one, you have to sound like, you know, you can't do John Wayne and say, "Oh, bother," you know, that's not going to work. So you gotta get that going there, and then you stay true to the character, and you update it here and there. And you know, I've done things with Tigger that were never done before, but that's okay. You know, you gotta bring it up to. It's like Zoe Deschanel doing Winnie the Pooh, and what a doll she is. I mean, and it's the song you've always loved, but it's a little hipper now. It's a little cooler. It almost has that kind of all folk feel to it, and it's cool. So you're serving the tradition, but you're not stagnating. You know.
How much say did you have in what was kept in that was original versus what was sort of pushed the boundaries? Did you have any say in that? Were you passionate about anything that needed to be in there for Pooh?
Oh gosh, you know, the truer to the tradition, the better for me. You know, in recent years, I mean, you know, I've gone for hire, and if they want to do something, it's okay with the Disney guys. It's okay with me. You know. But I really enjoyed going back to the original because it's the stuff we all, no matter how old you are or young you are, it's the very first one, and it's the one everybody liked from day one. Yeah. So you can't go wrong. You know, I was very happy. I mean, we were joking earlier. I said, you know, what's next? You know, Pooh and Tigger meet, you know, Justin Timberlake thing. You know, or Lady Gaga goes to the 100-acre wood. No, you know. So you know, I like going back to the original. I like the stuff. It's stuff we all liked anyway.
Yeah. Why do you think that Pooh resonates with people? Why do you think that it's something that we can keep returning to over and over and over?
Well, I'll tell you, I've thought about that a lot, and I think there's no fad there. There's no fad. It's like clothing. If you want to be the one guarantee that whatever tomorrow your clothes will be out of date is just make sure they're up to date today. You know, and because tomorrow they're going to be gone. Whereas these guys, there's no trend. People are always going to, you know, there'll always be room in your heart for sweet, heartfelt compassion and friendship and love and all of these things. Whereas, you know, they're not pogs. You know, they're not, you know, whatever another fad would be. You know, that they're not G.I. Joe. They're not Care Bears. They're not Cabbage Patch Kids. You know, that come and go with the trends. They're evergreens. You know, little ones and big ones will always have a place in their heart for fantasy and compassion and love. And these guys are the embodiment of it, I think. You know, because they're heartfelt, but they're not corny. You know, and they're sentimental, but they're not sappy. You know, and it's just true. It's good stuff.
It's so funny
It resonates.
because Tom Kenny said, when Pooh first came out, I was like 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, well, when Pooh first came out, I was 5.
Yeah,
It's like
sure.
there's no time when it first came out because
Right.
it comes out for everybody brand new.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I would say. Winnie the Pooh generation isn't like 25 years like a generation. It's about 3.5. We're making, fresh Pooh fans all the time,
How there been like conversations about doing another movie? I mean, if this one is successful and everything, have you talked already with the directors?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Would you start a conversation like that? That would be good. I'll join it. Yeah, absolutely.
Which of the characters that you voiced are you most like?
Well, probably Tigger and Darkwing and Tasmanian Devil, but he's not a Disney character. I always jokingly say that I'm Winnie the Pooh and the anti-Pooh. Taz is about as far, Tasmanian. Do you know who that is?
That's like Pooh.
Well, they will never meet, except with me.
You would show that because you're a voice actor, and again, it's sort of you can move anonymously through the world,
Yeah.
but at the same time, do you ever? I mean, obviously, this is your gig, this is your job. You're not walking the streets doing the voice of Pooh, that sort of thing.
No.
But do you ever pop it out? Get a moment to surprise a child or something like that, or?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of times, their parents will ask me too, and I've horrified kids too. They're hearing that it's some guy talking like when he ate Winnie the Pooh or something. Years ago when we first started, my hair was a lot longer and darker and the whole bit. I guess I don't know. Is anybody from LA? Mark and Brian's that ring a bell? The radio show. Well, I did the Mark and Brian show, and I was there. Gosh, this has got to be 15 years ago. Anyway, I did the show. Kids called in, and we had all the normal stuff we do on a show. And as I'm pulling away in the parking lot, I hear Brian go, "Oh, that was great! Yeah, that was Jim Cummings. He's the voice of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, and he's been this and that. And I got to tell you, he kind of looks like a biker. Sorry, kids. Sorry, sorry, but so I whip it out here and there. I don't look like a biker anymore. I didn't then either. But yeah, I'm very popular at kids parties and schools. I read at a lot of schools. My girls. I got 4 daughters, and dads. I'm easily tapped. Once they find out that he's talking, what does he do? Oh, we're gonna get this guy in here. He's gonna have him great, and it's great, and I love it. It's pretty cool. I've got tons of stories like that. Like my one daughter, Raleigh. She's in her early 20s now, but it was probably that interactive Pooh. They brought some kid. It was show and tell day. She's like 5th grade, 4th grade, something like that. And show and tell day, and somebody brought in her their talking Winnie the Pooh doll. And the teacher was like, "Oh yeah, oh, and what have you got there, Lucy?" "It's my talking Winnie the Pooh." "Oh, bother, this and that." And so my daughter Raleigh's in class going, "Oh, really? Okay. We're gonna see about you and your Winnie the Pooh doll." Well, Daddy showed up next week, so it was kind of cool. I pull it out at any given moment, and then it wasn't the class; it was like the whole school. So they all showed up. So that was fun.
Have you ever been like tired or mad and then say something mean to somebody, like using Winnie Pooh's voice? Or you're not allowed to do it because that would be like...
No, I would never do that anyway.
If you say something mean to somebody, like using that
Do
voice.
the devil.
Taz would do it. Taz could do it. Yeah, Taz would do it. But no, even when they did that, gosh, it was a long time ago, that Just Say No to Drugs special where all the cartoon characters were in there. We were talking about earlier, one of the lines was by Winnie the Pooh is,
So if anybody ever offers you a this and that,
I go, Pooh's not going to say that. No, he doesn't know what that is. Give it to a Ninja Turtle. I had my one accountant used to tell me that, okay, I got a checker for you. I'll tell you how much it is if you talk dirty like Winnie the Pooh. I go, no, I will not talk dirty like Winnie the Pooh. Give me my check. these little fantasies that we all have, you know.
And we got last question?
So,
Is it the
yeah.
Last question?
Last question, yes. What do you all think about the current, them, sorry.
What is what's your favorite part of doing Winnie the Pooh? What is there a specific line that you love? Is there what sort of?
Gosh, well, there's like a million of them, but I always like it when you can employ some Pooh logic, and by that I mean it's because things make sense to him in his world. It's kind of like that.
The only what is that buzzing noise? Well, the only reason for making a buzzing noise is because you're a bee. And the only reason to be a bee is to make honey. And the only reason for making honey is so I can eat it.
And one of the others was, well, what are you thinking of? I'm thinking of a flower, I'm thinking of this. And Pooh's line was, I think that I'm thinking of, because he wasn't sure. He had to use that Pooh logic to get there. So Pooh logic is always fun.
I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.